The first thing people noticed was the silence behind the lights. It felt like the whole set was holding one careful breath. Keanu Reeves stood near the monitors, calm, focused, and unusually quiet. Sandra Bullock adjusted her jacket, smiling softly, yet watching everything. The film was supposed to be simple, warm, and clean. A small story about courage, truth, and second chances. The crew loved it because it felt gentle and honest. The studio loved it because it looked safe and inspiring. But something invisible had started to shift in the air. It began with tiny delays, then strange missing notes. A marked script page went blank, then a prop disappeared. Nobody shouted because nobody wanted trouble. Maya was the newest production assistant on the team. She was smart, polite, and always early. She carried a notebook like it was a treasure. She wrote every detail, every change, every promise. Maya had grown up watching Sandra on screen. She also admired Keanu for his steady kindness. To her, they felt like rare proof of hope. That was why she wanted to do everything perfectly. That morning, the director asked for one special rehearsal. It was a quiet scene with no music. Two characters would face a hard truth together. The scene needed patience, timing, and respect. Sandra stepped onto the set with a gentle confidence. She greeted the crew by name, one by one. Keanu followed behind her, carrying his own water bottle. He thanked the lighting team, then checked on a tired grip. Maya watched them, trying not to stare. She had met famous people before, but never like this. They did not act like stars, they acted like teammates. That difference made Maya feel both calm and nervous. The assistant director called for the final script pages. Maya reached for the folder, then froze in place. The folder was lighter than it should have been. Her chest tightened, and her hands started to shake. She opened it carefully, hoping she was mistaken. The key pages were missing, including the scene notes. She checked her bag, then her cart, then the table. The pages were gone, and the clock kept moving. Maya tried to breathe, but her mind raced. If the rehearsal failed, the schedule would collapse. If the schedule collapsed, everyone would suffer. She pictured faces disappointed, not angry, just tired. She hurried to the script supervisor, voice low and steady. She explained what happened, keeping blame out of her words. The script supervisor frowned, then checked her own copy. Her copy had the pages, but the notes were altered. The altered notes did not match the director plan. They changed emotional beats and cut important lines. They also added strange timing marks for camera moves. It looked like someone tried to confuse the scene. Maya felt her stomach drop with quiet fear. She did not want to accuse anyone wrongly. She also did not want to hide the truth. She chose the middle path and went to the assistant director. The assistant director listened, eyes sharp and concerned. He asked where the folder had been last. Maya answered clearly, remembering every step. Then she offered a simple plan to recover quickly. She would print fresh pages and rebuild the notes. She would ask the director for the original scene board. She would do it fast and keep it respectful. The assistant director nodded, then thanked her for honesty. Still, the damage had already started spreading quietly. People whispered about delays and about who caused them. Maya could feel those whispers on her skin. She kept working, refusing to let fear stop her. When she reached the office printer, it jammed hard. She tried again, then again with no success. A technician came, then shook his head slowly. The printer had been tampered with, and it needed parts. Maya stared at the machine, stunned by the timing. Two problems one morning, both hitting the same scene. It felt too precise to be a normal accident. She swallowed hard, then turned and ran to Plan B. Plan B was the old printer in a storage hallway. It worked, but it printed slowly and unevenly. Maya fed paper carefully, one sheet at a time. She watched each page like it could vanish again. As the pages printed, she heard footsteps behind her. She looked up and saw Sandra standing nearby. Sandra held 2 coffees and a small warm smile. Her eyes were kind, but they also looked concerned. Sandra asked if Maya was all right, voice soft and steady. Maya tried to answer, but her throat felt tight. She admitted the pages were missing and notes were altered. She also admitted the printer problem, keeping her tone calm. Sandra did not react with panic or blame. She took a slow breath, then set the coffees down. She asked Maya to show her the altered notes. She read them carefully, then nodded like she understood. Sandra said mistakes happen, but patterns mean something. She told Maya she trusted her effort and honesty. Then she offered to help in a simple way. She would speak to the director and protect the schedule. Maya felt relief, but also embarrassment and fear. She did not want Sandra to carry her problem. Sandra placed a hand near Maya's shoulder, not touching. She asked for one promise: keep your head clear. Maya promised and kept printing with steady focus. Sandra picked up 1 page and marked a correction. She did it lightly, with respect for the director's vision. She also wrote a small note: keep the emotional truth. Then Keanu appeared at the end of the hallway. He walked quietly, like he did not want to interrupt. He looked at Maya first, then at the pages. His expression stayed calm, but his eyes narrowed slightly. Keanu asked one question: who else knows about this? Maya answered honestly: only the script supervisor and assistant director. Keanu nodded, then asked for the altered notes sheet. He read it, then looked toward the set with concern. He did not say anything harsh or accusing. He simply said the scene mattered more than the chaos. He told Maya she did the right thing by speaking early. Then he thanked her, as if she had saved something important. Maya felt tears press behind her eyes. She blinked them away, refusing to lose control. Keanu noticed and spoke in an even gentler tone. He said, your job is hard, but your heart is strong. Sandra watched Keanu, then smiled like she agreed. She said they would handle this together, professionally. She said grace is not pretending, grace is choosing wisely. Maya listened, feeling her fear loosen slightly. Back on set, the rehearsal time was near. The director paced, worried but trying to stay composed. Crew members glanced at their watches, then at each other. The room felt tense but not cruel. Sandra walked in first, carrying the fresh pages. She spoke to the director with a steady calm. She explained there was a printing issue, now solved. She also explained some notes were altered, now corrected. The director looked shocked, then angry for a second. But Sandra kept her tone gentle and factual. She offered the corrected pages with a respectful smile. She did not accuse anyone, she only protected the work. Keanu stepped in next, beside Sandra, quiet and grounded. He asked the director if they could rehearse simply. No extra camera marks, no rush timing, just truth. The director exhaled, then nodded, grateful for the support. Maya stood behind them, trying to stay invisible. But the director called her name and asked her forward. Maya froze, then walked in, holding her notebook. She expected a lecture, but she received something different. The director thanked her for catching the problem early. He said mistakes can hide, but honesty brings light. Then he asked her to stay close for the day. He wanted her notes, her focus, and her steady memory. Maya nodded, heart pounding, trying to look composed. She returned to her station, feeling both proud and scared. Some crew members smiled at her, quietly encouraging. Others looked away, as if unsure what to think. The rehearsal began with a soft hush. Sandra and Keanu faced each other under warm light. Their scene was about forgiveness and the cost of pride. Every sentence they spoke felt carefully held and true. Maya watched the monitors, then glanced at the crew. The tension began to turn into quiet respect. Even people who doubted earlier now looked focused. It was like professionalism itself had lifted the room. Then the twist arrived, small, sharp, and chilling. The director assistant handed him a phone, face pale. The director read a message, then looked straight at Sandra. He said the studio just sent a complaint about her behavior. The room froze again, even colder than before. Maya felt her stomach drop because she knew the truth. Sandra had done nothing wrong, not even a little. Yet the complaint looked official, and it had her name. Keanu took one step closer, eyes steady and protective. Sandra lifted her chin calm, but her hands trembled slightly. Maya stared at the phone, realizing someone planned this carefully. And the set waited for what would happen next. The complaint sat on the director's phone like a heavy stone. The air turned thin, and every small sound felt too loud. Maya watched Sandra, waiting for anger or fear to burst. Instead, Sandra stayed still, breathing slow, eyes clear. Keanu did not move fast, but he moved with purpose. He stood beside Sandra, not in front, not behind. His presence said support without stealing her voice. The crew felt it, and the room stayed quiet. The director cleared his throat, trying to sound neutral. He said the message came from a studio contact. He said it claimed Sandra was rude during rehearsal prep. He said it also claimed she delayed production on purpose. Sandra nodded once, like she accepted the facts calmly. She asked to see the exact wording on screen. The director hesitated, then turned the phone toward her. Maya saw the lines, and her heart began to race. The message used phrases Sandra would never use. It also mentioned a hallway printer that Sandra never touched. It named Maya as a witness, which was untrue. It looked crafted to divide everyone in one strike. Keanu read the message, then looked toward the crew. He spoke softly, but his voice carried steady authority. He said nobody should judge without verified information. He said professionalism means patience, especially under pressure. Sandra lifted her gaze and addressed the director first. She said she respected the schedule and everyone working today. She said she welcomed any review of her behavior. She said the truth would protect the team better than panic. Those sentences did something quiet and powerful to the room. Several crew members relaxed their shoulders at the same time. Maya felt her own breathing slow, just a little. She realized grace could be a tool, not only a trait. The director asked the assistant director to step closer. He asked for the studio contact details and time stamps. The assistant director checked, then frowned with worry. The contact name looked real, but the number felt off. Maya knew she should speak, even if her voice shook. She raised her hand slightly, then stepped forward carefully. She said her name was used falsely in the complaint. She said she never reported Sandra, not even indirectly. Sandra turned to Maya with a calm, grateful look. She said thank you for protecting truth under stress. Keanu nodded at Maya, approving without making it dramatic. The director listened, then asked everyone to keep working. He said the rehearsal would continue, without gossip or blame. He said he would handle the studio message privately. He said anyone with concerns could come to him directly. The set began moving again, but tension stayed under the surface. Maya returned to her station, hands still slightly unsteady. She opened her notebook and wrote the time and details. She wrote the phrases from the complaint, word by word. She did it because patterns mattered, and she needed proof. The next scene's setup took 20 minutes of quiet labor. Lights shifted, microphones adjusted, props placed with care. The crew acted normal, but their eyes kept scanning. It felt like everyone expected another unseen strike. Keanu and Sandra rehearsed again, even more focused. They kept the emotional truth clean and steady. The director watched closely, then nodded with relief. For a moment, the work felt safe again. Then Maya noticed something small near the monitor table. A paper scrap sat under a cable, almost hidden. She bent down, picked it up, and read the header. It was part of a printed email, torn by hand. The email fragment showed a subject line about conduct. It also showed Sandra's name, spelled correctly and highlighted. Maya felt cold move across her back slowly. Someone printed the complaint earlier, long before the message arrived. Maya did not run, because running would draw eyes. She slipped the paper into her notebook, careful and quiet. She looked around and saw a grip walking away quickly. The grip did not look guilty, but he looked nervous. Maya told herself not to assume, not to accuse. She walked to the script supervisor with a calm face. She showed the paper scrap and explained where she found it. The script supervisor stared, then whispered that this was serious. They agreed to inform the assistant director discreetly. They walked together, acting like they discussed normal notes. The assistant director listened, then asked to see the scrap. His eyes hardened and his jaw tightened. He said this looked like a coordinated attempt to sabotage. He said they needed to keep the set stable first. He said panic would help the saboteur win quickly. Maya nodded, trying to hold her nerves in place. The assistant director asked Maya to do one careful task. He asked her to check the printer area again, quietly. He asked her to see if anyone left tools or papers. Maya agreed, because she already felt responsible for the truth. She walked the hallway with slow, controlled steps. The storage printer still sat there, humming softly. A few extra sheets rested on the top tray. Maya lifted them and saw faint marks like test prints. One sheet had a list of crew names with circles. Maya recognized her own name near the top. Sandra's name was circled in darker ink. Keanu's name was not circled, but it was underlined. Maya felt fear, but she also felt clarity forming. Someone wanted Sandra isolated, and Maya blamed for it. Someone also wanted Keanu distracted, maybe pulled into conflict. It was not random, it was planned. She took the sheets, folded them, and hid them safely. She returned to set, mind working fast and careful. The assistant director met her behind a camera cart. She handed him the sheets without speaking loudly. His face tightened further, but he thanked her quietly. He said she did good work under pressure. He said he would bring this to production security. Maya asked what she should do next, voice low. He told her to stay near Sandra and Keanu today. He said they were targets and she was a link. He said her calm could prevent more damage. Maya nodded, feeling both honored and scared. Later, during a short break, Sandra approached Maya again. Sandra offered water and asked Maya to sit briefly. They sat on two folding chairs near a quiet corner. The sound of distant crew chatter filled the space. Sandra asked Maya how she was holding up. Maya admitted she felt afraid and also ashamed. She said she did not want to be a problem. Sandra listened with soft eyes, not interrupting her. Sandra said fear does not mean weakness, it means care. She said responsibility can feel heavy, but it can guide. She said she trusted Maya because she chose honesty early. Maya felt tears again, but she kept her voice steady. Maya said the complaint used her name as a weapon. She said someone printed documents with circled crew names. Sandra stayed calm, but her expression grew more serious. She said, "Thank you for telling me directly, with respect." Keanu joined them, carrying a small snack bag. He offered it to Maya first, then to Sandra. He sat down only after Sandra nodded gently. His calm seemed deeper now, like a quiet shield. Keanu said sabotage feeds on ego and fast reactions. He said the best defense is clear facts and patience. He said they should not hunt a villain loudly. He said they should protect the team and finish the day. Sandra agreed and added something that surprised Maya. She said grace is also strategy, not only kindness. She said when you stay respectful, liars lose oxygen. Maya absorbed those words like a lesson she needed. The break ended, and filming resumed with careful focus. The assistant director posted extra staff near key stations. The director kept his voice calm and avoided public blame. The set looked normal, but it felt guarded. During the afternoon, a studio representative arrived unexpectedly. He wore a neat jacket and carried a tablet and folder. He said he needed to speak with the director immediately. The crew watched him, trying to look busy. The director met him near the production office door. Sandra and Keanu stayed on set, waiting patiently. Maya stood nearby, ready to help with anything needed. She saw the representative glance at Sandra, then look away. A few minutes later, the director returned looking pale. He announced a short pause and asked for Sandra and Keanu. Sandra walked with steady posture, face calm and neutral. Keanu followed beside her, eyes alert, steps measured. Maya stayed back, but she could hear some low voices. The representative spoke about risk, reputation, and sudden complaints. The director tried to explain the evidence they found. The representative said the studio wanted immediate assurance. Then the representative said one line that changed everything. He said the complaint included a forwarded audio clip. He said the clip sounded like Sandra insulting a crew member. Maya felt her stomach drop because Sandra never did that. Sandra asked to hear the clip, voice steady and clear. The representative played it from the tablet speakers. A woman's voice sounded sharp, angry, and dismissive. It sounded like Sandra, but it also felt wrong. Maya noticed the rhythm, the breath spacing, the odd pauses. The voice had Sandra tone, but not her kindness. It was like a mask made from familiar sound. Maya remembered stories about fake audio, edited to deceive. Keanu spoke, calm but firm, without raising his volume. He said the studio should not trust unverified audio. He said there were signs of manipulation in the message trail. He said they already found printed documents tied to the complaint. The representative looked uncertain, but still guarded. He said the studio would open a formal review. He said filming could be halted if concerns grew. The crew could feel the weight of those words. Sandra did not argue and did not attack anyone. She said she welcomed a review led by verified experts. She said she would cooperate fully and respectfully. She also asked one simple thing: protect the crew from chaos. The director thanked Sandra, then thanked Keanu quietly. The representative left to make calls in the hallway. The director turned to Maya and asked for her notebook. Maya handed it over, hands steady despite inner fear. The director scanned the notes, then looked at her carefully. He asked where she found the printed email scrap. Maya answered and described the list with circled names. The director nodded slowly, then said something chilling. He said the studio had received an anonymous tip about Maya. He said the tip claimed Maya planted evidence to frame someone. Maya felt her face go cold and her ears ring. She realized the trap was closing around her. Keanu looked at Maya, eyes steady, voice gentle. He said they would not accept claims without proof. Sandra placed a calm hand on Maya's forearm briefly. She said, "We will stand with truth, and we will be careful." But the representative returned with a new demand. He said security needed to interview Maya immediately. He said it was standard procedure, but it felt like judgment. Maya stood up, trying to keep her breathing quiet. She looked at Sandra and Keanu, searching their faces. They both gave her the same message without big gestures. Stay calm, stay honest, and do not fear loud lies. Maya nodded once, then followed security toward the office. The hallway felt longer than usual as Maya walked with security. Her footsteps sounded too loud against the quiet walls. She kept her eyes forward, breathing slow, counting steps. Fear stayed close, but she refused to let it control her. The small office door closed behind her with a soft click. Two security staff stood near the wall, calm but watchful. A studio investigator sat at the table with a tablet. His voice was polite, but his questions were sharp. He asked Maya to explain the missing pages situation again. She spoke clearly, starting from the first delay. She described the altered notes, the printer problems, the scrap. She avoided emotion, focusing only on facts and timing. The investigator listened, typing quietly, eyes rarely blinking. He asked why her name appeared in the complaint. Maya said she did not know, but she suspected intent. She said someone wanted confusion, not truth. He asked about her relationship with Sandra and Keanu. Maya said she respected them professionally, nothing more. She said they treated everyone with fairness and calm. She said that was why this attack felt unnatural. The investigator played the audio clip again. Maya listened carefully, heart steady but alert. She explained the voice rhythm differences she noticed. She said it sounded edited, not spoken naturally. The investigator paused, then asked a difficult question. He asked if Maya could benefit from framing Sandra. Maya met his eyes, refusing to look down. She said she had nothing to gain, only work to lose. Outside the office, Sandra waited quietly near the monitors. Keanu stood beside her, hands relaxed, posture protective. The crew kept distance, unsure what to say. The director watched the door, face tense but hopeful. Minutes passed slowly, stretching into heavy silence. Then the investigator opened the door and stepped out. He asked the director and Keanu to join him. Sandra followed calmly, without being asked. Inside the office, the investigator spoke carefully. He said early signs suggested coordinated misinformation. He said the audio clip metadata looked suspicious. He said the complaint timing did not align naturally. The director exhaled deeply, relief mixed with concern. Keanu nodded once, absorbing the information. Sandra thanked the investigator for his careful review. She asked if filming could continue safely. The investigator said limited filming could resume. He said security would monitor internal access closely. He said the source was likely someone inside production. That sentence landed heavily on everyone present. Back on set, the atmosphere shifted again. People worked, but trust felt thinner now. Eyes lingered longer, conversation stayed brief. The saboteur could be anyone, and everyone knew it. Maya returned to her station, greeted with quiet relief. The script supervisor squeezed her shoulder gently. The assistant director gave her a subtle nod. Yet Maya knew the danger had not passed. During the next setup, Maya noticed a pattern. Small mistakes appeared near Sandra's scenes only. Props slightly misplaced, marks faintly smudged. Each issue looked accidental, but together they told a story. Maya shared this observation quietly with Keanu. Keanu listened without reacting outwardly. He thanked her, then asked her to document everything. He said truth grows stronger when it is patient. The next twist came without warning, sharp and public. The studio representative returned to set abruptly. He announced a temporary lead change consideration. He said it was precautionary, not punishment. The words cut through the set like cold air. Crew members froze, unsure how to respond. Sandra stayed still, her expression calm but wounded. Keanu turned slowly toward the representative, eyes steady. Keanu asked one careful question, calm and direct. He asked what evidence justified such an action. The representative hesitated, then mentioned investor pressure. He avoided specifics, speaking in vague phrases. Sandra finally spoke, voice steady and respectful. She said she would step aside if truth demanded it. She said she would not fight rumors with anger. She said she trusted the process to reveal facts. Maya felt something shift inside her chest. Sandra Grace was not weakness, it was courage. The crew watched closely, absorbing every word. The representative looked unsettled by her calm strength. Keanu added something unexpected, firm but gentle. He said if Sandra stepped aside, he would pause filming. He said the story required trust, not fear. He said professional grace must protect everyone equally. Silence followed, thick and meaningful. The director looked between them, clearly moved. The representative realized pressure had met resistance. He asked for time, then stepped away to call the studio. Maya realized the saboteur plan was failing publicly. But desperation often leads to reckless moves. She scanned the set, noticing a familiar nervous grip. The same one she saw near the printer earlier. The grip avoided eye contact and packed equipment quickly. Maya noted the time and location carefully. She shared it with the assistant director quietly. Security eyes shifted subtly toward the exit. The day ended without further incident, but tension remained. As people packed up, whispers followed the lights. Maya stayed late, organizing notes and copies. She knew tomorrow would bring confrontation or clarity. As she left the set, her phone buzzed once. An unknown number sent a single short message. It said, "Stop digging, or you will lose everything." Maya stared at the screen, heart steady but resolved. She deleted nothing and saved the message carefully. She understood now how far the saboteur would go. But she also knew she was not alone anymore. Truth had allies, and tomorrow would test them all. Morning arrived with a strange calm over the set. The sky was clear, but tension still lingered quietly. Maya arrived early, holding her notebook like armor. She had slept little, but her mind felt sharp. Security presence increased around key areas. Badges were checked twice, voices stayed low. The assistant director briefed the crew with steady words. He said focus on work and let facts do the rest. Sandra arrived without ceremony, calm and centered. She greeted everyone with the same warm respect. Keanu followed shortly after, carrying quiet confidence. Their behavior set the tone without needing speeches. Maya noticed the nervous grip again near the equipment racks. His movements were rushed, eyes scanning constantly. She did not stare, she only observed carefully. Truth needed patience, not confrontation. The investigator returned mid-morning with new findings. He requested a private meeting with key staff. The director, Sandra, Keanu, and assistant director joined. Maya waited outside, heart steady but alert. Inside, the investigator presented clear technical evidence. The audio clip showed artificial stitching patterns. The complaint message traced back to an internal device. Someone inside production had accessed restricted systems. The room stayed silent as the weight settled. Sandra closed her eyes briefly, then opened them calm. Keanu rested his hands on the table, composed. The director asked the hardest question, who did it? The investigator said one name carefully and without drama. It was the nervous grip, hired weeks earlier. He had passed complaints from other productions. None proven before, but patterns were consistent. Security moved quietly to locate him immediately. The set remained calm, avoiding public disruption. Maya felt relief mixed with sadness. Someone had chosen harm instead of honesty. Minutes later, security returned with confirmation. The grip had attempted to leave the lot. Printed materials and devices were found in his bag. Everything matched the earlier evidence exactly. The director announced the situation calmly to the crew. He avoided blame language and avoided details. He thanked everyone for professionalism under pressure. The crew responded with quiet respect. Sandra stepped forward unexpectedly and addressed everyone. She thanked the crew for patience and trust. She said difficult moments reveal true character. She said she was proud to work among such people. Keanu followed, speaking only a few sentences. He said respect protects creativity better than fear. He said truth always needs time, not volume. His words settled deeply across the set. Maya stood quietly, feeling unseen but steady. The assistant director later pulled her aside. He thanked her for courage and consistency. He said her future in production looked strong. Filming resumed fully that afternoon with renewed energy. Scenes flowed smoothly, emotions felt honest again. The earlier chaos seemed distant, almost unreal. Trust slowly returned through shared effort. During a break, Sandra approached Maya once more. She thanked her personally, eyes sincere and warm. She said integrity often works silently. She said never doubt the power of steady truth. Keanu added a quiet nod of agreement. He said courage does not always look loud. He said sometimes it looks like notes and patience. Maya smiled softly, feeling lighter than before. As the sun lowered, the final scene wrapped smoothly. Applause rose naturally, not forced. The day ended with calm satisfaction. Yet one question remained quietly unanswered. The investigator warned the issue might not be fully closed. External pressure and reputation repair still remained. The studio would respond publicly soon. That response could still change everything. Maya looked at the darkening set thoughtfully. Truth had won today, but tomorrow still mattered. The story was not finished yet, and the final test was still waiting. The next morning arrived with unexpected quiet confidence. The studio response had not arrived yet. Everyone felt the pause like a held breath. Maya sensed this day would decide the ending. The crew gathered early, working with calm determination. There was no fear now, only focus. Security stayed present but less visible. Trust slowly stitched itself back together. Sandra arrived carrying the same calm grace. Her smile was gentle but thoughtful. Keanu walked beside her, steady as ever. Their unity felt unspoken but powerful. The director called a brief meeting before filming. He thanked everyone for resilience and professionalism. He said the story behind the camera mattered too. He reminded them why they chose this work. Filming began with the most emotional scene scheduled. It was the heart of the entire film. The scene required vulnerability and trust. Every eye watched closely, every breath measured. Sandra stepped into the scene with quiet strength. Her voice carried warmth, restraint, and truth. Keanu responded with calm presence and deep empathy. Their connection felt real, not performed. Maya watched from the monitors, deeply moved. She forgot fear, pressure, and suspicion. She only saw honesty unfolding naturally. The crew felt it too, without saying anything. When the director called cut, nobody spoke. The silence felt respectful and full. Then applause rose slowly across the set. Not loud but sincere and earned. Before anyone could reset, the studio representative arrived. He looked different now, less guarded. He asked for the director, Sandra and Keanu. Maya noticed his hands no longer rushed. The meeting took place openly near the monitors. The representative addressed the crew as well. He said the investigation confirmed internal sabotage. He said the studio accepted full responsibility. He apologized publicly to Sandra with respect. He praised her professionalism under unfair pressure. He acknowledged Keanu's leadership and integrity. He thanked the crew for protecting the production. Sandra responded with grace, not pride. She said she accepted the apology fully. She said the team mattered more than reputation. Her words eased the last tension remaining. Keanu added something simple but lasting. He said mistakes teach when handled honestly. He said kindness keeps people human under stress. The representative nodded, visibly humbled. Then the representative surprised everyone again. He announced Maya's contribution had been recognized. He said her documentation saved the project integrity. He offered her a formal advancement opportunity. Maya froze, heart pounding softly. She did not expect recognition, only fairness. She thanked him quietly, voice steady. The crew smiled, sharing her moment. Later, during the final setup, Sandra approached Maya. She thanked her once more, softly. She said courage often begins in silence. She said Maya had honored the entire team. Keanu added his own words calmly. He said leadership is choosing truth over comfort. He said Maya had already learned that lesson. His respect felt deeply earned. The final scenes wrapped as daylight faded. Everything moved smoothly and peacefully. The earlier storm felt far away now. Only unity remained on the set. As equipment packed up, the director stood quietly. He looked across the team with pride. He said this project would be remembered differently now. Not only for the film, but for the people. Maya walked toward the exit slowly. She felt tired but fulfilled. Her phone stayed silent at last. Fear no longer followed her steps. She paused and looked back once. Sandra and Keanu stood talking with crew. No barriers, no distance, only respect. The image stayed with her. One more challenge remained quietly ahead. The film would soon face the public eye. Truth had survived inside the set. But the final test would come outside. Weeks later, the film neared its public release. Trailers played across screens with quiet anticipation. Interviews were scheduled, articles prepared carefully. The story behind the scenes remained mostly unseen. Maya continued working with steady confidence. Her role had expanded, but her habits stayed grounded. She documented everything with calm precision. She remembered how truth once needed protection. The studio released a clear public statement. It explained the internal issue without blaming language. It praised professionalism and transparency openly. The response was respectful and complete. Media attention shifted quickly toward admiration. Journalists focused on teamwork and resilience. Sandra interviews reflected humility and gratitude. Keanu words centered on respect and shared effort. During the premiere night, the atmosphere felt different. There was no tension, only quiet pride. The red carpet moved smoothly under soft lights. Cameras flashed without hunger for drama. Sandra walked with grace and calm presence. Keanu stayed beside her, steady and grounded. They spoke to press with honesty and warmth. No rehearsed lines, only sincere reflection. Inside the theater, the crew gathered together. They watched their work unfold on screen. Scenes carried emotional truth and clarity. Every challenge they faced strengthened the story. When the credits rolled, applause filled the room. It was long, genuine, and deeply earned. Sandra stood and thanked the crew openly. She spoke about trust, patience, and shared strength. Keanu followed with simple words that lingered. He said creativity survives when people protect each other. He said grace is choosing dignity under pressure. The audience listened with quiet respect. Maya sat among the crew, heart full and steady. She felt proud without needing recognition. Her journey had changed her perspective forever. She knew what kind of professional she wanted to be. After the premiere, Sandra found Maya in the crowd. She hugged her briefly, with sincere warmth. She thanked her for believing in truth early. Keanu nodded nearby, offering a calm smile. As the night ended, the team dispersed slowly. No one rushed to leave the moment. They had shared something rare together. Not fame, but mutual respect. Maya stepped outside into the cool night air. She felt lighter than she ever had. Fear no longer shaped her choices. Integrity had become her compass. The story would live on screens now. But the real lesson stayed with them. Kindness does not weaken professionalism. It defines it.